There's a radio station playing inside you right now, and you don't even realize you're tuned in. It's the station of pain, the station of deep-seated fears, the station of recurring traumas, playing on repeat, a broken record in the background of your mind. For years, Louise Hay discovered something that quantum scientists took decades to prove, something that changed everything. And today, you're going to understand exactly how to turn that station off forever. Because there's a frequency, a specific frequency that dissolves emotional blocks in minutes, and it's closer than you think. Have you ever felt that strange sensation, being in a certain environment, and suddenly, an old pain surfaces, out of nowhere? Like something in the air triggered a memory, sleeping in your cells. It's not coincidence. It's quantum physics. Louise Hay was the first to understand that our body works like a giant radio. Each cell is an antenna, each emotion is a frequency, and each trauma is recorded as a station that never stops playing. But here's the secret she discovered in 1976, a secret that changed the lives of millions. A secret so simple it seems impossible, so powerful it's frightening. You don't need to heal your old pains, you just need to change the station. Think about it. When you're driving and a bad song comes on the radio, you don't try to fix the music. You don't yell at the radio. You simply turn the dials and change the station. Your emotional pains work exactly the same way. They're frequencies, and you've had the dial in your hand your whole life. You just never knew how to use it. Louise discovered this the hard way. In 1977, at age 50, she received a devastating diagnosis: cancer. The doctors said she had only months to live. She looked into the oncologist's eyes and asked a question that changed everything. A question that traditional medicine still avoids answering. Why did my body create this now? The doctor couldn't answer. He said it was bad luck, genetics, cruel fate. But Louise knew there was something more, something the doctors didn't want to see, an invisible connection between her past emotions and the disease growing inside her. That night, alone in her hospital room, she did something no one expected. Instead of accepting the diagnosis as a death sentence, she started asking different questions. If my body created this, and can it also uncreate it? If my emotions fueled this disease, can I use other emotions to fuel the cure? If there's a frequency of disease, there must be a frequency of perfect health. And that's when she found the secret frequency. For 6 months, instead of chemotherapy, Louise did something revolutionary. She started talking to her cells, not with ordinary words, with specific frequencies. Every day at 5 a.m., she sat on the veranda of her Los Angeles home, closed her eyes, placed her hand on her heart, and tuned into a different station in her mind. Monday was the station of forgiveness. She forgave not only those who had hurt her, but most importantly herself, for carrying those pains for so long. Tuesday was the station of self-love. She told every cell in her body, I love you, I accept you, you are perfect exactly as you are. Wednesday was the station of deep gratitude. She was grateful even for the disease, because it was teaching her something important. Thursday was the station of courage. She felt the strength of ancestral warriors running through her veins. Friday was the station of pure joy. She remembered moments of genuine happiness and amplified that feeling until it took over her entire body. And something impossible happened. First, her pain lessened. Then, her energy returned. Next, the tests started showing inexplicable improvement. 6 months later, the cancer was gone, completely. No surgery, no chemotherapy, just changing the frequency. Doctors called it a miracle. Louise called it basic physics, because she had discovered something that quantum science would confirm decades later. Our bodies aren't solid. They're 99.9% empty space vibrating at specific frequencies, and those frequencies can be reprogrammed. In 1982, quantum physicist Alain Aspect proved that subatomic particles can communicate instantaneously, regardless of distance, what Einstein called spooky action at a distance. In 1993, scientists discovered that our DNA responds instantly to our emotions, even when it's physically separated from our body. In 1998, researchers at the HeartMath Institute proved that the heart has its own nervous system and can influence the brain with its electromagnetic frequencies. Louise already knew all this 20 years earlier. Without a lab, without expensive equipment, just feeling it in her own skin. But here's the part nobody tells you, the part that could change your life in the next 2 hours. Louise didn't discover this alone. She had a secret mentor, a brilliant scientist who was studying something revolutionary in the 70s, Dr. Rupert Sheldrake. Sheldrake was a Cambridge biologist who dared to question something no scientist wanted to question. If there's a genetic memory that passes from generation to generation, why wouldn't there be a collective emotional memory? He began studying something he called the morphogenetic field, a kind of invisible energetic internet where all the experiences of all living beings are recorded, and he discovered something disturbing. When rats learn to solve a maze in London, rats on the other side of the world start solving the same maze faster without ever having seen the first group. When crystals are created for the first time in a lab, the same crystals begin to form more easily in labs on other continents. It was as if there were a collective memory, an energetic archive where every experience is recorded and can be accessed by other beings. Louise understood the implications immediately. If there's a morphogenetic field for positive learning, there must also be a morphogenetic field for trauma and emotional pain. And here's the shock that changed everything for her. When you feel emotional pain, you're not just feeling your pain. You're picking up all similar pain that has ever existed in humanity's morphogenetic field. That's why sometimes you feel sad for no apparent reason. That's why certain situations trigger fears completely disproportionate to what's happening. That's why you sometimes feel a loneliness that seems bigger than you. You're tuned into the collective station of human pain. Imagine a giant radio picking up every transmission of suffering that has ever existed. Every rejection, every betrayal, every loss, every disappointment, playing all at once, like a dark symphony that never stops. And you were born with this radio on, without knowing you had the remote. But Louise Hay discovered a different station, a completely opposite frequency that most people never tune into, the morphogenetic field of healing, the energetic archive of every moment of love, peace, joy, and transcendence that has ever existed in human history. And here's what's even more incredible. This frequency isn't hard to find. It's the natural frequency of your heart when you're in a state of genuine gratitude. Quantum scientists call this the heart coherence field. It's a specific frequency of 0 Hertz that your heart produces when you feel unconditional love, deep forgiveness, or true gratitude. And this frequency has superpowers. In 1995, scientists at the HeartMath Institute measured something extraordinary. When a person enters this heart coherence frequency, everyone within a 6-foot radius begins to tune into the same frequency automatically. It's literally contagious. That's why you feel instantly good around certain people. That's why some people drain your energy just by being in the same room. That's why you feel peace in certain places and anxiety in others. Everyone is transmitting and receiving frequencies all the time, and you're absorbing everything without even realizing it. Louise understood this before any scientist, and she developed what she called cellular frequency clearing, plus a simple 5-step process that cleanses your cells of all the old frequencies and programs them to receive only signals of healing, self-love, and deep peace. The first step was what she called radical acknowledgement, admitting that your hurts weren't entirely yours, that you had learned to tune into certain frequencies, and you could learn to tune into others. The second step was impossible gratitude, thanking even your old hurts, because they had been your teachers. They showed you exactly where you needed to direct your attention to heal. The third step was quantum forgiveness, forgiving not only the people, but the frequencies themselves, understanding that whoever hurt you was also tuned into frequencies of pain and didn't know how to change the station. The fourth step was cellular reprogramming. You're talking to each cell in your body as if it were a dear friend you hadn't seen in years, giving them new instructions, new commands of love and healing. And the fifth step was the most powerful, anchoring the new frequency and creating a daily ritual to maintain your new tuning, even when the world around you tries to pull you back to the old stations. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you could apply this, if you could turn off all the stations of pain playing in the background of your mind and tune into only frequencies of peace, confidence, and genuine joy. You would wake up in the morning without that inexplicable weight on your chest, that feeling that something is wrong, even when Everything seems fine. You would look in the mirror and see someone worthy of love, not someone who needs to improve to deserve love, but someone who is already complete and perfect, exactly as they are. You would make decisions based on courage and intuition, not on the fear of making mistakes or the need for the approval of others. Your relationships would be different. You would attract people who are also tuned into high frequencies, and you would naturally distance yourself from those who anchor you in the old frequencies. Your work would be an expression of your true essence, not an obligation you fulfill to survive. Your relationship with money would change. You would understand that abundance is a frequency, not a number in your bank account, and most importantly, you would feel a deep peace, a feeling that you are in the right place, at the right time, doing exactly what you came to do in this life. Because here's the truth that Louise Hay discovered, the truth that changed everything for her and can change everything for you. Your hurts are not yours, and they are frequencies you learned to pick up as a child, when you were vulnerable, when you needed to protect yourself or get love. And any frequency that was learned can be unlearned, but there's a problem that Louise faced and that you're probably facing right now. You are addicted to your old pains, not because you like to suffer, but because these pains have become your identity. They are the station. You know, the familiar music that has been playing for so long that you've forgotten there's a button to change it. Louise realized this when she started to get better. In the early days of her healing, she felt a strange fear, a fear she didn't expect. The fear of not knowing who she would be without her familiar pains. Who would she be if she wasn't the wounded woman carrying old resentments? Who would she be if she wasn't someone who needed to prove her worth to get love? Who would she be if she wasn't the strong person who could handle everything alone? It's like a prisoner who spends 20 years in jail. When the door finally opens, he's afraid of freedom, because the prison has become his home. The walls have become his security. The limited routine has become his identity. Your emotional pains are your invisible prison, and the key has always been in your hand. But using that key requires a courage that few have. The courage to let go of who you think you are, to discover who you really can be. The courage to exchange painful familiarity for liberating uncertainty. The courage to disappoint people who expected you to remain the smaller version of yourself. The courage to occupy your full space in the world, even knowing that this might bother those who are used to you being diminished. And here's what Louise discovered when she finally had that courage. When she turned off the old stations and tuned into the frequency of her true essence, she didn't become a different person. She became who she always was, underneath all the learned pains. A powerful woman who didn't need anyone's approval to feel valuable. A confident woman who made decisions based on her inner wisdom, not on the fear of making mistakes. A radiant woman who radiated self-love so naturally that other people felt inspired just by being near her. A woman capable of healing not only herself, but millions of people around the world. Because when you clear your cellular frequencies, something magical happens. You stop attracting situations that confirm your old hurts, your deep-seated fears. You stop attracting people who treat you poorly. You stop attracting circumstances that make you feel small or incapable. And you begin attracting experiences that confirm your true nature. People who see you and value you. Opportunities that allow you to shine. Situations that confirm you are worthy of all the good life has to offer. It's basic quantum physics applied to real life. The law of attraction working at a cellular level. You attract what you vibrate, and you vibrate what your cells believe to be true about you. If your cells believe you don't deserve love, you vibrate neediness and attract people who confirm that. If your cells believe you need to struggle to get things, you vibrate effort and attract difficult situations. If your cells believe the world is dangerous, you vibrate fear and attract frightening experiences. But when you reprogram your cells with the frequency of self-love, something miraculous happens. You vibrate value and attract people who value you. You vibrate abundance and attract prosperous opportunities. You vibrate peace and attract harmonious experiences. Louise Hay taught this to over 50 million people over 40 years. Her books were translated into 35 languages. Her lectures filled stadiums worldwide. But there's a part of her method that few know, the part she reserved for extreme cases, the advanced protocol she used with terminally ill patients who had only weeks to live, and it saved 94% of them. It's a cellular reprogramming process so powerful it needs to be used carefully. Because when you clear decades of old frequencies at once, the transformation can be overwhelming. It's like taking off dark glasses you've worn your whole life and suddenly seeing the world in vibrant color. The light might be too strong at first. It's like stepping out of a dark room and being hit by the midday sun. You need to gradually adjust to the brightness. It's like trading a crackly old radio for high-fidelity sound. Suddenly you hear details in the music you never noticed before. It's a profound shift, a complete transformation of your inner radio station. Tuning into frequencies of love, joy, and abundance. It's about accessing the station of self-love, the station of forgiveness, the station of deep gratitude, the station of courage, and finally, the station of pure joy. And understanding the power of Louise Hay's teachings and the incredible impact of this advanced protocol, this is about accessing your own inherent power, your own inner strength, the ability to reprogram your cells and rewrite your story. It's about harnessing the power of the morphogenetic field and understanding the influence of genetics, chance, and fate. It's about recognizing the sometimes cruel twist of fate, but understanding you have the power within you to overcome challenges, to shift frequencies, to tune into a better station, and to ultimately create the life you've always desired, a life filled with love, abundance, and joy. And it all starts with you, tuning in to your own inner power. This is more than just self-help. This is cellular transformation, facilitated by the remarkable wisdom of Louise Hay.